Time now for the Inside Dish. This is the portion of the show where I take you inside a story that I might have done over the past week, or I expound upon maybe a story from my career, something cool that I might have experienced or witnessed, whatever the case might be. This week, it's kind of a combination of both. I wrote today about managers, kind of a status check on their statuses. It seems that no one is really on the hot seat. And that is a surprise because at this time of year, we're about a quarter of the way through, this is when you start to see things happening. And the reason I know things happen this time of year is because at the outset of my career, actually it was my 5th year covering baseball, 1991. I had gotten married at the end of 1989. My wife was pregnant with our first child. And on May 21st, 1991, our first child, Samuel Joseph Rosenthal, was born. That day, the Cubs fired Don Zimmer as manager. The next day, the Royals fired John Wathan as manager. And that night, I'm listening to the Orioles on the radio. Yes, on the radio. I don't believe the game that night was on television. Orioles are getting crushed. Frank Robinson is their manager, and I'm thinking, oh no, he's getting fired tomorrow. And I promised my wife that I would be there for several days. This was our first child. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. The whole deal. I uttered the words, I think, don't worry, honey, I'll be there. Well, that's the biggest lie in baseball writing, biggest lie in sports journalism, probably the biggest lie in journalism. Because journalism, things happen, your life gets immediately disrupted, and you just have to kind of pick up and go. Sure enough, the next day, Frank Robinson gets fired. So, the first 3 days of my son's life, first 3 days, a manager gets fired. And for that, it became kind of a sensation. It actually got around the country that this had happened, that this baseball writer in Baltimore, man, he's got a son, and every day of his life, a big league manager's gone down. And Jerome Holtzman, the late Jerome Holtzman, the great baseball writer from the Chicago Tribune, he actually wrote a column about this, called it The Curse of Samuel Joseph. Yes, and it was, at that time, somewhat of a curse. And then Sam also made it into Baltimore Magazine, Best of Baltimore, because of his curse. And it turns out that in the years that followed, right around his birthday, things would start to happen. And managers would get fired. And I wrote occasionally about the curse of Samuel Joseph, make kind of a joke about it. We always joked about it at home. Sam, it's your birthday. It's getting to be that time of year. Somebody's going to get fired. Well, this year, I should say, Sam turned 32, and we had a delightful birthday. Sam was here with his girlfriend. We had a celebration. Wasn't disrupted at all. There was no drama, no nothing. Because things have changed a little bit in the game. And while there were 4 in-season firings last season, this season, it doesn't seem like it's going that way at all. Now, there could be a lot of action at the end of the year, contractual situations, things of that nature, things that are coming up. There are 6 managers on the last years of contracts. But for now, things are relatively quiet. So, the curse of Samuel Joseph, it seems to have gone the way of the knockdown pitch, the defensive shift. It almost seems like it's becoming extinct. But man, it was something while it lasted.